sort of giving Destiny's Child. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. What's up, and sak passe, my fabulous friends? Thank you so much for joining me again for another video. I just had a little playful moment. That song was so appropriate for what I'm going through right now. All I've been doing is surviving, so all is good, all is well. Before diving in today, I wanted to take a moment to first and foremost acknowledge and say thank you to everyone who's been so supportive. My first video that I posted received such great feedback, and you guys have really motivated me and inspired me to keep going. And I want to take a moment to just say thank you so much for the time you took to just watch the video and the time you took to give me some uplifting and positive comments. And again, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I also want to take a moment to ask you guys, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and please turn on your notifications. Like, share, comment, just engage with me as you see value in what I'm sharing. I do appreciate it in advance. And today, I want to talk about something that came up. It wasn't originally planned, but I figured why not, because I was getting asked this question. People were more so wondering, why am I so calm? Why do I feel so assured, especially when I'm talking about entrepreneurship? Because, you know, that's very scary for a lot of people. Going back into the workforce isn't 100% off the table for me, but I am pushing entrepreneurship more than anything right now. And I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm going to put myself out there. I don't know how to be anything other than 100% real, 100% authentic and organic. So if I'm out here, I'm out here. So yes, I had a good job, but I did not have it all together financially. And I know a lot of people probably don't talk about that, managing money. I've had my struggles with trying to manage money. It wasn't something that I was taught. When you know better, you do better. Between that and life circumstances, I can't say that last year this time I was 100% prepared to be in this situation. So what this situation has taught me is that absolutely no one is immune to layoff. And as a matter of fact, last year, my heart was palpitating. I was not prepared at all. And that kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities. As I mentioned before, I'm a single mother, and financially it's more so on me. So that brought me a lot of heartache to not know where I stood stability wise. So I realized that everybody is not able to save 6 months of their salary, much less 3 months of their salary, to get by in the event that they're let go from their position unexpectedly, or some other life altering situation happens where they're unable to work and provide. So I want to share some things. They may be unconventional. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. And I wasn't really preparing for a layoff, more so just making sure my situation was good in the event of. So instinctively, I was preparing for my layoff. There's some things that I did for my money preparation to be able to continue to provide for myself and my child. I felt like that was God talking to me and through me to make some of the moves that I did, because today I'm good. Today I'm in a situation where I'm okay. I'm going to share some of these things with you guys. I'm going to make a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor by any means. So please do not take this as advice. I'm just sharing. And if you find any nuggets in some things that I share, potentially some things you didn't think about, then that's great. I would advise, if you do have a financial advisor or consultant or someone who's well-versed fiscally, please run it by them and or do your own research, because sometimes people can get boxed in their own thinking and they're not necessarily open to different non-traditional avenues. So I'm going to share with you guys, it's going to turn into a 2 or 3 part series on preparing yourself for a layoff or any type of unplanned situation where you find yourself needing to pivot and needing to try to deal with a situation where you unexpectedly lost your job. So let's dive right in. The first part that I'm going to mention has to do with money preparation. I think that's the most important thing, right? Is money, is to pay our bills, it's to sustain ourselves. Money preparation and planning is key. I mean, even I struggled. I was able to save money, but as soon as you save it, sometimes it slips right through your fingers like water. There's always situations that comes up. This breaks, that breaks, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, and it really takes a toll on someone's savings from time to time, especially if you're in a single income household. The first thing you want to do is the obvious thing. Check your money situation. Figure out where you stand. What are you spending right now on things like subscriptions, bills, unnecessary bills? What do your expenses look like versus what does your income look like? So you want to cut your unnecessary expenses and you want to figure out how much do you need to survive on a monthly basis, and then figure out how long can you survive within your current situation and start from there. You need to figure out what are your needs and what are your wants, which is something that I actually did. Cutting subscriptions alone saved me about $150 a month. So make sure you take a really good look at some of your expenses, because you could be spending money that you absolutely don't need to. And even if you don't cut the expense right now, what I did was I actually created a list of, if it absolutely had to go, what would I sacrifice and ditch? And I just kept that to the side, not knowing again that I was gonna need that list sooner than later. So if anything, if you don't cut the expense right away, at least make a list and track it so that you know right off top, what are some of the first things that need to go in the event that you're laid off or you lose your job or you're not able to work anymore. But also just creating an emergency savings plan. If you didn't have one before, make it a point to set some money aside now so that you can start to do that. One of the things that I've leveraged is the ability to split my pay into different deposit accounts. So I would have my organization direct deposit right into my savings. So that's one tool you could do now if you don't already have an automatic savings plan, or you find it very challenging to save, is to automate your saving as soon as possible. Another thing you want to do for knowledge-based purposes, knowing what you need to cut off, you want to create a laid off budget, basically, or a non-working budget. What would your budget look like if you didn't have your job or you didn't have your current income that you're earning right now? That'll help you to see what you need to reduce holistically as well. The second tip under money preparation is something that is going to sound counterproductive to the advice of saving, is advice of paying down your debt. And I know it sounds like you're trying to save so you can't pay down your debt, but let me tell you, paying down your debt is saving. Being able to confidently lower your debt and not be attached to any high balances is actually going to help you in the long run. It's actually going to give you the sense of, you don't have to allocate funds to that area. So paying down debt is very, very important, especially those credit cards, the consumer debt, those cards that accrue high interest on a monthly basis where you're literally just paying hundreds of dollars in interest a month. You want to lower those as much as possible, as much as possible. Y'all, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is a completely different setup. Don't know what happened with my last video. Somewhere along the lines when I was editing, I noticed that it was just completely cut off and gone. So here we are again. I'm gonna pick up where I left off. I'm almost done, so just bear with me. Just one more point to make and then we'll be done. So let's say you're in a situation where you're not in a position where you can close the gap from where you are and where you need to be comfortable. That happens all the time. There are different circumstances. It might not even be just because you don't earn enough money. Whatever the circumstance may be, there is a gap and you don't know how to close it. And there's also an urgency where you're realizing that you need to figure out a plan and close it quicker, sooner than later. I was in that situation, so trust me, I know. If you're finding yourself in that position, there might be a few options that you can consider. Again, I would advise you consult with a financial consultant or your financial advisor before you do any of this. Again, this is not advice, it's just ideas or different things that I've done. So if you have stock options, if you have investments, potentially you could look into cashing out on some of those investments if they've earned money. That's one option. Another option is your own investment within your own 401k account. I would advise you to consult with your company and their 401k management company to understand what options are available to you, but it's a completely safe option to borrow against your 401k invested amount. For example, if you were going to take out $10,000 and borrow that against your 401k, 401k, you could do so. This might sound unconventional for some people, and some people may or may not know about this already, but when you borrow against your 401k, essentially you're just borrowing against yourself and you're paying yourself back the interest as you pay it back. 401k loans are usually paid back through your payroll processing. So whatever your frequency is for payroll, if it's weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly, your 401k management company will develop a payment plan so that you could replenish your 401k funds. Now, you will pay yourself interest back on the amount that you borrowed. But again, the interest is going to go towards your retirement amount. And long term, that's only going to benefit you. So there is no harm in doing that. This is a very viable option for people who just want to make sure they're prepared and make sure they're good in the event it happens. Again, it's just an option. It's not advice, but it's an idea, and it's a viable avenue to take if you are concerned about that and if you have 401k to draw from. Another possibility, if you have company stock. If your company issues stock and you're able to pull out your vested amount of your company stock, that is a great option as well. Aside from investments, whether it be long-term, short-term, whether it be initiated by you or given by your company, there's always the good old tried and true method of getting another job, getting a part-time job. I know nowadays there are so many options available where you can work part-time from home, especially if you already work all day outside of your home and you want to come home. Potentially that's something you could look into. I'll find some links. If that's something that you guys are interested in, I'll be more than happy to look and find some opportunities online and make a video about that in the future. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see, and I'll be happy to do that. There's side hustles as well. So many side hustles that you can do out there. With technology and the internet, honestly, the opportunities are limitless. So that's another opportunity that you can have to close the gap quicker if you feel that your main job or your main source of income is at risk for being discontinued. Lastly, this idea, although it could be unconventional and although it would be a last resort because it does involve debt, the last thing we want to do is get into debt. But if the debt is going to help you fight and live another day, it is something that you could consider. If you own your home, if you own a home and you have access to equity within that home, looking into a home equity line of credit or a HELOC is not a bad idea. HELOCs, again, I would encourage you to do your own research and gather your own information about this, but HELOCs are a great way to be able to just have access to money in the event you need it. Typically with a HELOC, you'll have this line of credit depending on how much equity you have in your home, and it'll be available to you for a certain amount of time. I think 20 years is around the mark for most HELOC, but this money will be available to you for you to use, and you really won't start having to make your payments until that 20-year mark. So it's a great way to access funds on a reserve, and I say reserve because please don't go get a HELOC because you just want to do whatever, especially if you don't have a job. That's it. That's all I had to share with you today. Like I mentioned, this is going to turn into potentially a two-part series. It's feeling more two-partish right now, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you the next part of preparing yourself for a layoff. It is possible. It's never something fun. Obviously, it's nothing anyone wants to happen, but being in a position where you're ready and you're ready to go, it makes a world of difference no matter what you decide to do. As I mentioned, this is just stuff that I'm sharing so that you can get some ideas. Listen, no one wants to be in that position. Just living on a day-to-day basis is enough to create all sorts of anxiety. Being able to prepare for something unseen, unknown in the future and putting yourself in a position where you could bounce back for yourself and your family is enough to reduce any anxiety. And that's what we want, right? We want to make sure we're in a situation where we don't have any anxiety. I can tell you for me, I have none. I have zero anxiety. And it was because I did some of these things. And it is honestly the most refreshing position to be in. I'm not rich by any means, but I'm good and I'm taken care of and God is good. And with that, I'm just going to live a little word, just a little word Lord. So I'm gonna leave you guys today with Proverbs 12:25. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. And here's my kind word to you. Be kind to yourself. All right. Be kind to yourself. Don't kick yourself or beat yourself up. You can do this. You can get through it. It might not look like it right now, but you'll get through it. You'll figure out a way. And if you don't know a way, you can always pray. All right. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment. Leave some comments in the comment if you've tried some of these things, good or bad. It's always good to have all types of experiences shared. So thank you again for taking time. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.